Today I've got with me some Dubia roaches that are probably the one animal that's like the easiest to keep alive and breed because they require practically no care, but I'll be going over the little care that they do need. So firstly, what I've got here, I've got some babies. These guys I recently produced. They're anywhere between a few days old and a few weeks old. And then in here I've got some subadults. These guys are anywhere between like 2 months and 9 months probably. And then these are the adults, and they're about probably 10 months to a year. So firstly, I'm going to show you just how to set up a very simple enclosure. These guys are already in their usual thing, but I'll be setting something up for my adults because I just cleaned out. What you want to use is just any sort of tubware or glass aquarium or just whatever. It really doesn't matter, but you're probably going to want something that has smooth, flat edges and that are completely vertical because they can't climb stuff like this. So the very first thing I want to do is just take whatever I'm putting them in, and like I said, I'm just using this tubware, and I'll stick the adults in here. I do everything I can not to touch them because I hate having to touch the roaches. And step one of like 2 steps is basically done. They can just live in this, they don't need anything else other than some food if you just want to keep them alive. So my favorite foods to use with them are potatoes and carrots, because unlike fruits and other veggies and stuff, if you leave something like a strawberry or a banana in here for like a week, when you come back it's going to either be moldy or have flies on it or just be all gross and mushy and smell. But this is just what old potatoes look like. These are like a few weeks old and they just basically shrivel up. They don't look very good, but they're not rotting, they're not all mushy, they're actually pretty solid, and they're very easy to clean out and pick up, and they don't attract any other bugs. Why I also like using veggies compared to some sort of diet for them is because it has both their food and their water. Really, I'd say they probably don't even need food for a really long time, but if you want them to grow, you should give them food pretty often. I just throw stuff in about once or twice a week, and I'm gonna go ahead and cut this up for them because that's what they'll be having today. So I've got some potato cut. I'm actually gonna cut them again, just like that, and I'll pop them in there just like that. If you want, you can put some extra things, like I have these styrofoam egg cartons, just so they can hide under them and feel a bit safer. It really doesn't matter, they probably don't need it, but it'll keep them more calm and just more comfortable because there's really no reason to make them uncomfortable. So right here is basically everything a Dubia roach needs to survive, but if you want to breed them, there's a little bit more that you should do. Because in order for them to breed, although they can survive practically any temperature, you want them to have really warm temperatures and pretty humid air because they're from such tropical places. So anyway, the best way to heat this is just with a heat pad. They don't require any light or anything. This heat pad's made for, I think, 1 to 5 gallons, and I just slip it under, turn it on. I don't use a thermostat or anything. It really doesn't matter. But if you are doing something with plastic, make sure it's not too hot to where this melts. But if you just get a heat pad that works with like 1 to 5 gallon tanks, you'll be just fine. So earlier I said you don't need a cover, and that's still true, but a really good way to keep that heat in there and the humidity is with a cover. So I'm gonna put something on here, and this is the wrong cover. Okay, here's the right cover, and I don't actually latch it on because I don't have any holes in this. With my other one, I do have some holes drilled into it, so they do get a little bit of air circulation. So now, because your roaches get their food, and they have a little place to hide, and they have enough space, along with the right heating and humidity, they should start to breed as soon as they're old enough. Each roach I found will have about 25 to probably 40 babies about once a month. And then of course the more roaches you have, the more babies they'll have. And because these all aren't quite big enough to actually breed yet, I'm not getting as many as I will in the future. And then as these grow up, I'll probably either feed off or sell some, and then breed the others. So to know if a roach is old enough to breed or not, you're gonna basically look at the size and the color. Now I still don't want to touch these, but I'll show you some close-ups of these subadults. You'll see that they're almost completely brown with some tan, and they're about probably 1 to 1.5 inches long, probably just about 1 inch. However, the adults are about 2 inches. The males are longer and have wings, and the females are a bit fatter and don't have wings, so that's how you can tell the difference. And then once they are about 2 inches, it'll still take them a few weeks to start breeding, but then once they do, you should be getting babies consistently, as long as you keep feeding them like once a week or once every couple weeks, probably once or twice a week, and then keeping that heat to where it's nice and warm and cozy for them. Then you can just take the babies out. It's kind of a pain. You don't really have to take the babies out, you can just leave them, but I like being able to have them separate, and I just have them in this little container that I actually stick in here with them. just so it's easier. And I'm also going to give the babies some food so that they grow a little bit faster. And there we go, babies and adults are taken care of. I'm just going to give these guys the rest of the potatoes so that they can grow up to adults. So that's basically all there is to keeping your roaches alive and get them to breeding if you're going to be breeding them. Basically all you need is something to keep them in, something to feed them, and if you are going to be breeding them, something to heat them with. But yeah, that's it on how to care for and keep your Dubia roaches alive. Hopefully it helped out, and that's it. So I'm Alex, and thanks for watching.